Today, we're going to revisit an old tale that you've likely heard before, but maybe never took fully to heart. We're diving into the timeless story of Sisyphus. We're ready to take on today's lesson, one inspired by the myth of Sisyphus, as retold by philosopher Albert Camus. It's a story not just about struggle, but about resilience, endurance, and finding meaning in the most unlikely places. According to the legend, the gods condemned Sisyphus to push an enormous boulder up a mountain, only to watch it roll back down once he reached the top. And this, they said, was his eternal punishment, to engage in this laborious and futile task for all eternity. But here's the twist and the core of today's lesson. This story isn't just about punishment or suffering. It's about the conscious awareness of the struggle itself, which transforms torment into triumph. Let's step back for a moment and consider Sisyphus. The punishment was designed to be endless and devoid of hope. Imagine pushing that boulder up a mountain again and again, only for it to roll back down every time. It's easy to picture the frustration, the sense of futility. But the real tragedy, as Camus points out, lies in the fact that Sisyphus is fully aware of the hopelessness of his task. It's his consciousness, his acute awareness of the absurdity of his situation, that defines his torment. This awareness could have easily broken him. After all, what's the point of pushing a boulder if you know you'll never succeed? But here's where the story shifts. Sisyphus doesn't let the awareness of his fate crush him. Instead, he finds power in it. He accepts the endless climb, the repetition, the toil, and he owns it. He doesn't need the hope of victory to give his life meaning. He finds meaning in the struggle itself. And here's where we bring it back to you. How many times have you felt like Sisyphus? How often do you feel like you're pushing your own metaphorical boulder, whether in work, relationships, or personal goals, only to watch it roll back down? There are days, weeks, or even years where the grind feels never-ending, and the reward seems far out of reach. But like Sisyphus, we have a choice in how we frame our experience. We can let the futility of certain tasks wear us down, or we can learn to love the process itself. The key to overcoming life's challenges, to building resilience, is to shift our focus away from the end goal and learn to derive satisfaction from the process. This doesn't mean we give up on our ambitions. It means we learn to appreciate the journey as much as the destination. The science behind this is fascinating. When you're constantly thinking about the outcome, about how far you have to go, your brain produces adrenaline, which heightens your stress levels and makes the task feel more difficult. The more you think about the distance to your goal, the more daunting it becomes. But when you start to enjoy the work itself, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good hormone. The more you train your mind to find joy in the process, the more dopamine your brain produces, and the more resilient you become in tackling challenges. Think of it like this. The more you focus on the satisfaction of the small steps, the less overwhelming the journey feels. And over time, you start to find pleasure in the effort itself, not just the outcome. This is how you build the mental fortitude to keep going, even when the road seems long or the tasks repetitive. Remember, there is no sun without a shadow. You cannot appreciate the light without understanding the dark. The struggle is a part of the experience, and if you can learn to reframe it, to see it not as a punishment, but as an essential part of the journey, then you've already won. Imagine Sisyphus standing at the foot of the mountain, knowing full well what lies ahead. Every day, he returns to his task, but rather than being crushed by it, he embraces the climb. The struggle itself becomes meaningful because it is his own. And that is the lesson we're left with today. The battle, the effort, the push, these are the things that fill our souls, not the fleeting moments of victory. So, as you move forward in your own journey, remember that while the destination is important, it's the climb that will define you. Every step, every effort, every challenge, it all adds to your strength. When you take ownership of the process, you discover that the climb itself is enough to make you victorious, no matter how far you have to go. You've got this.